Hi, I'm Drew Hutchison. You're tuned to Local Bias. We come to you from the studios at Easthampton Media on Pleasant Street in beautiful Easthampton. And today my guest is Faith Burrington Jones, a therapist who has a book out, a second book, and has a third book actually. So this is the second book, right? Or
This is the second.
This is the second book. Faith, welcome to the show. It's
Nice to see you again, Drew.
It's always delightful to see you. And I'm familiar with quite a lot of your work because for whatever reason, I was doing some consulting with you.
Yes.
And your work was what I was consulting, not on your work, but the presentation.
Right.
Because you've done all this amazing research. And what I found interesting is that, you know, working with you and having you explain your process, I thought I understood it. And it's like, oh yeah, that's really interesting. Oh yeah, that jives. Oh, that makes sense. And then I got this book, Bookending Your Day, The Lighthouse Effect.
Yeah.
And I knew you were a detail-oriented person, but it's just like, this is thin, and yet this is heavy.
Yeah.
There's a ton in here. Mm-hmm. And what it does more than anything else is it's a guide, from my perspective, that if you just simply follow these exercises, whatever path you're on, it's going to get easier because you won't be beating yourself up over stupid shit. Pardon my French.
And it is a beautiful self-care design that every person designs for their own makeup. So mind, body, spirit, what is best for them. So it's like, essentially, it's like an owner's manual for the self with what works best for you in your mind, what to think, what to focus on, what to say in the privacy of your own mind, self-talk, when you rise in the morning and when you go to bed at night, hence bookending your day.
Right.
And then different times throughout the day when you might be at a stoplight.
You check in.
Or you go to the restroom, you check in again to see how you're doing, mind, body, and spirit. So it's essentially about knowing thyself.
Right. Well, and knowing thyself means you have to actually be honest with yourself.
Yes, totally honest. But here's what I found, is that this book is actually the third book because it's what, after people go through the training manual and the program, then they get to know what works best for them as they go through the program.
Right.
Mindful recovery, tolerance building, emotional balancing, and conscious relationships.
Right.
But the first relationship you have to get right is the one within yourself.
Right.
And we usually don't do that. We're totally focused on pleasing or appeasing somebody outside of ourselves.
Right.
Because that's how we learned how to survive from childhood programming.
And childhood trauma, and the thing is, what is trauma? I mean, are we all traumatized?
I think this life, as it is traumatizing.
Because it's unnatural. I'm sorry.
Well, there's social norms that we're expected to measure up to.
Right.
And it starts with the grading system when you go into school, or even right away, you're a good girl, or you're a good boy, or you're a bad boy and you're a bad girl.
Right.
So just right away, when parents, well-meaning parents, are trying to keep their kids safe, they learn what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, whether it's with their parents or with a caregiver or at school or with their peers.
That becomes the norms.
Yes.
But those norms are not always the same as
They're
other people's
not,
norms.
because everybody is designed uniquely. And a lot of the norms that we're measured up against are cookie cutter and categorized and stereotyped.
And artificial, quite frankly.
They are. And unfair.
Right.
And untrue.
Right.
So we spend the rest of our lives trying to detach from those negative core beliefs, and it's usually universally, I have found, it's not good enough on some level.
Right.
I'm not measuring up.
Well, don't we all have a bit of imposter syndrome anyway?
I think that is true. I haven't met anybody yet, and I'm open to,
Right.
who really feels really good about themselves in all levels and aspects of a human,
Right.
let's just say, because we're taught to compete and compare.
Right.
And it starts, of course, in the lineup of our family of origin, where we have siblings that are older, younger, and some of us
So
don't
birth
have
order
any.
makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference. In fact, when I do therapy with people, birth order is one of the things that I'm most interested in. And then how they compared themselves to the older and the younger, or even if they're an only child,
Right.
you know, what happened with the only child. So there's so many layers to look at.
Well, and also we write our own stories. So someone may be the middle child, which is what I am, and my story may be different than someone else that is a middle child.
Exactly.
But there's still certain things that overlap.
Yes.
Typically.
Yeah, and so the inquiry is a reflective inquiry, which I strongly encourage in the book to make that a daily practice, where you're asking, is this true? This narrative that I'm running in my head, this thing that I'm thinking, this judgment that I have about myself or that other person, is it true?
Right.
It feels true. It might feel true, and you might think it's true, but when you really go deeper inside with that inquiry, you find that it isn't true,
Right.
and then we operate from that untruth most of the time. So I get into that
Right.
pretty
Well,
deeply in the book.
ultimately, it seems like we're so harsh on ourselves.
Well, we're kind of programmed that way.
It's easier to manipulate us. I mean, do you think there's like
I think I was thinking about that on the drive here. There's two sides to everything. And if you're brought up with this lack consciousness or a not good enough consciousness, there is something in that motivates us to be better.
Okay,
You
sure.
know, so there's that kind of thing. But then the other side of that, it could prevent us or block us from becoming our full authentic self,
Right.
which is, to me, what the goal is when I work with anybody, whether it's a group or an individual. But I'm getting to that place of what is underneath all of the programming, and how do you back into your whole self, mind, body, spirit, which is that metaphor, the lighthouse effect.
Right.
It's about backing into your own self and your unique expression of the way that you perceive the world, and the passions that drive you, and also the fears that you carry.
Well, and the fears seem to be the thing that hold us back the most.
Yes.
I know this for myself. I'm a musician. I'm a professional musician, and I'm a professional artist. In fact, I consider myself an artist first and foremost.
Yes.
I was afraid to take classes in high school in both music and in art because I was afraid I wouldn't be good enough.
Well, there you go.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like I was being judged by the other kids.
Yes.
We think we're being judged all the time. Most people are not even thinking about you.
They're
thinking about
not.
themselves and if other people are judging them.
Right. So true. But we are caught in that. And the part of us that bought that is our smallest self.
Right.
So I point that out as I work with people, is this is the voice of your smaller self. And you take the 3 deep breaths and go vertical and back into your tallest self.
Right.
And the smallest self is not going away.
You don't want it to go away.
No.
It's part of you.
And it's also, it keeps you humble, that small self, you know, and balanced.
Right.
So it's not about medicating, ignoring, neglecting the parts of us that are vulnerable. It's actually about facing that part or those parts and meeting those parts with understanding and not allowing those parts to manage your life.
Well, and you talk about the medication, but in a way what you've done is you've come up with a way that people get the benefits of what medication provides,
Exactly.
but you don't have to take a pill. Instead, there's an exercise.
Right. There's or a focus.
Oh.
And so it's about mindful attention to the present moment. And
Now, you
to
do
me-
Qigong also, though.
Yes.
So how much has that influenced this writing?
Well, I started with Taekwondo
Okay.
and moved to Qigong because I had an injury. I had a torn ACL. And so the interesting part is that that whole process too informed this book, because it's both, Taekwondo is the art of kicking and punching. It's a Korean martial art. And Qigong is a healing movement.
Right.
It's not a martial art. Like Tai Chi is a martial art.
Technically.
And Qigong is like
They look
Tai
the same.
Chi because it's very graceful
Right.
and rhythmic and circular moving.
Right.
Yet the presence, although in Taekwondo you have to be present and in the moment, it's just that you work with the energy flow of Taekwondo is more like physical contact even.
Okay.
Whereas Qigong is more about being present and in the movement within the self and feeling the energy or the qi from the earth and the qi from the environment and the qi from your body and the qi from the cosmos. So you're actually rhythmically pulling qi and interchanging the qi from yourself to the earth.
But you
and to the
develop
cosmos.
recognition of qi. You can feel the energy
You
when,
can.
when you've worked with it. And so the same thing with these exercises, if you actually do the work,
Yes,
then you feel the change.
you do, and it's not thinking. It's like goal, and that's okay to have goal setting, and I have goal setting with launching this book, and stuff like that. But it's more about feeling into the present moment, and then feeling your connection with self and others, and actually picking up on their energy. But you can't really become aware of that unless you practice mindfulness or presence practice.
Right. Are
And-
people afraid to do this, by the way, when they first work with you sometimes? It's like, oh, I can't do
Well,
that?
they don't know. They don't even know to say I can't.
Okay.
It's just kind of weird for them. To be present with a feeling feels counterintuitive. Because if you're having a difficult feeling, you want to move away from it,
Right.
which is instinctual and it's very primordial.
But then if that's repressing that, it's going to manifest somehow.
Yeah.
Whereas if you bring it out and you say, yes, this feeling is valid.
Yes.
This is how I feel.
Yes.
There's nothing untrue about feeling the way
And
you
it's
feel.
not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Or a problem to be fixed. It's a human experience,
Transitory.
feelings to be experienced,
Right.
and allow it to move through you. And that's the teaching of Qigong, is it moves through, just like Tai Chi too. It's moving through instead of attaching
Right.
and holding on to.
Well, I know so many people who I love who seem stuck because something happened to them in their life and they have a feeling associated with it. And it's often shame
It's often shame and guilt.
and guilt, and they cannot get past that.
Yes, and that becomes an addiction in and of itself and a familiar thing.
Right. They're used to it, so they can
They're-
put up with it.
Exactly. And some people, the truth is, that might be what they do for their entire life.
Right.
And so I work with those people who are willing to move through those attachments.
Well, they wouldn't have come to see you if they
Right.
weren't ready.
Exactly, but sometimes they think they're ready,
Okay.
but there are parts inside that are not. So they can intellectually be ready, but they're going to get kickback from the scared parts
Right.
within themselves. So
You have to
that's
create
how
a
I work.
real safe space.
Yes, that's probably the most important thing. Safe, container in a group situation, a safe environment, a safe connection for them.
Non-judgmental.
Yes, it has to be. And respectful. You know, because I work with people who have been so traumatized, they used medication, alcohol, drugs, love and sex addiction, gambling, porn addiction, to mitigate those feelings, to actually help them cope.
Right.
So I invite them all in, and I always say to them, well, good for you that you found something that worked. It just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
So then we work from there. So instead of reinforcing shame, I help invite them to liberate themselves from the shackles of their past and their shame and their guilt.
I mean, who among us has not done things that we felt like, oh my, what an idiot I am?
Yes, everyone.
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 And the thing is, it's so annoying because I like to think of myself, oh yeah, you know, I got it together. I'm and then I'll have one of these thoughts of a memory of something I did or said 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's like, that's over, and I still have that loop that comes up every now and then.
Yeah, so when it happens, say, yes, I see you, I hear you, and yes, that didn't feel good.
Right.
And now we're going to just let it go.
Right.
And take it for a walk, write about it, do art around it, movement around it, but don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it. And the other thing is, it sometimes hides in the body itself.
Obviously, yes. Cellular memory, trauma gets trapped in the body. And you know what you said a little bit ago about presence practice and mindfulness. A lot of people don't want to be in the moment because all that stuff starts coming to the surface.
And the thing is, if they allowed it to come to the surface, they could let it float away.
Right, but the fear of what that's going to feel like.
I don't want to see that again.
Or feel it again.
Or feel that again.
Yes, or maybe I'm not going to be able to survive it.
Right.
You see, that's always, so we talk about that. And there's a pacing of this work, and I don't set the pace. The people that I work with set the pace.
But you've probably become accustomed to seeing, oh, this person's at this stage now. This is the struggle that typically happens at this point in their growth.
Exactly, and it's a process.
And ultimately,
and ongoing.
And then that's the thing about these exercises. Yeah. They keep you on track. If you actually stick with this every day, you're getting up in the morning, you're being grateful for your day that's coming ahead.
Right.
You're present. You're acknowledging yourself. You're doing whatever exercises in here.
Right, what's good for my thoughts, what's good for my body, moving the body, feeding the body is very important, how we nourish ourselves, and then establishing boundaries, learning how to say no, which is the fourth module of the, I don't know if I mentioned the 4 modules.
You haven't.
So this book, this is the product of the program where they get to then formulate their own daily self-care journal.
Right. You were talking about the 4
modules.
The 4 modules. So tell me about the 4 modules.
Well, I present the modules from a lighthouse effect metaphor.
Okay.
So the lighthouse being your spiritual, represents symbolically your spiritual alignment.
Right.
The shore is your skills, or all of the techniques and handouts and exercise and things that you use to learn how to be present and grounded in the moment with anything that you do. And the emotional balancing is the 3rd module, where it's about learning how to actually meet your emotions and using various techniques to face them and mitigate them and allow them to come through you.
Now, is that where your different meditation techniques and breathing techniques come in?
Yes, and the main technique that I share in that module that I think is so incredibly effective is the emotional freedom technique. Tapping is another way to say it.
Right.
And it actually is a two-part system where you're activating with the tapping on sedative points in the energetic system of the body, the meridians. And I'm an integrative acupressurist, so I am very well versed in energy medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so that tapping sedates, and then at the same time you're running a narrative that is using the narrative of, like, even though I'm having this extreme anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
I deeply and completely accept myself having anxiety, because
Right.
the truth is we don't. People come to me and they say, I want to get rid of my anxiety, I want to get rid of my depression. We don't accept that we have anxiety and depression.
We don't? But
No, we don't like it.
I know
We
for a
do.
fact I have anxiety.
But the way, when I sit with people, the way that they treat themselves when they have anxiety or depression is very abusive. Because
Okay.
they judge themselves, they have shame that they have anxiety, they have shame that they have depression, they don't like how it feels, and I help invite them to face it and talk to it like your taller self. You mentor that part of you and allow the feelings to come through.
Right.
So anxiety actually is a indicator light, like a flashing
Mm-hmm.
red light for you to address, like a symptom
Right.
of what the story or the narrative that you're running. Like, oh my God, I don't think I'll be able to do that, go to the studio and record that song because maybe somebody's going to judge it as bad. That's the narrative
Right.
that creates the anxiety. But most people want to treat the symptom of anxiety instead of looking at the narrative.
Wow. See, you know, and I talk about how I have anxiety, but
Yeah.
it's around being late.
Ah,
So I just get everywhere early.
yeah.
I was 20 minutes early to have my wisdom teeth out. I had more anxiety about being late to the appointment than I did about having my teeth out.
Yeah, because then there's this belief, if I'm late, people are going to judge me that I'm,
I'm being rude.
yes, disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you just say, I am not a disrespectful person. I like myself as I am.
Right.
Sometimes I'm going to be late, and sometimes I'm going to be on time.
Right. It's easy. I mean, so you can, Faith, I hear you.
I know. So that's why in my book I call it Practicing Your Way from Survival to Revival.
Because it just doesn't happen instantly.
It does not.
You have how many years of programming to overcome?
Exactly. So it's about forgiving yourself, letting it go, and keep practicing.
And the thing is, when you see family members, if you haven't seen your brother or sister or whomever in 20, 30 years or however long, you still fall back into the same
You do.
patterns.
Yeah, because of, it's like the trauma memory or that just memory of energetically syncing with a personality. We don't think about that. We just get back with that personality, brother, sister, mother, father, cousin, friend,
right.
And we just fall back into the role that we assumed to survive that relationship.
So, I mean, how much are we the same and how much are we different over time?
Well, like I said, it's an ongoing practice and process of self-inquiry. It's like a lot of times you have to say, is this what I would do, the I deep down inside, or am I doing this because I think I should do it?
Right.
Because it's the right thing to do. So there's deeper layers to get into.
Well, I mean, I even wonder how much that, I mean, I find people so interesting. Everyone is so interesting.
Yes.
Everyone is so interesting.
Yes.
But how much of that is because I don't want to think about myself? I want to be, if I'm distracted thinking about that person
Right.
and learning about them,
Right.
then I'm not having to think about, oh,
Well,
I need to.
That's how you survived your childhood. If I can entertain them, make them happy, make sure they're okay, accommodate them, then I'm going to be okay.
Right.
So it's finding the balance. It's not that you It's not at all.
And you never
like-
stopped being who you were.
No.
You were that, and that's part of who you are now. And it's a gift.
It informs you and your personality.
Because aren't all the bad things that happen? I mean, I kind of look at it this way. I've had some crappy stuff happen to me. A lot of times it's been my own fault. I set it up that it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Every single one of those things ultimately was a gift.
Yes. In the long run.
In the long run.
But sometimes you can't see that it's a gift when you're in it.
Yeah.
So that's why we call it practicing your way.
Right.
And it's a process. So it's practice, not perfection.
Okay.
And it's actually about forgiving. Just forgiving is just letting go and allowing yourself to grow.
And that's not just forgiving yourself for, oh, I messed that up, or I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
It's about, well, that person caused harm to me. You can't take it personally. You have to.
But
I mean,
you
you don't need to
do.
be around them anymore.
But you're going to automatically take it personally.
Well, automatically. But,
Right.
but the
But
thing is,
then
how were
you
they
can-
acting? They were acting out of their own.
Their fear,
Programming.
they're basically trying to survive
Right.
whatever's coming through them. So they become a mirror for our own stuff,
Right.
which is shadow work.
So if you start seeing the better stuff in other people, you see the better stuff in yourself. It works both ways.
Yeah, and if you see the flaws or the challenges or the weaknesses, then you can look at that and radically accept that. This doesn't feel good. And then do whatever you can to hold yourself accountable and to try to practice your way to being more confident in how you can change that way that you relate.
Well, I'm confident that if anybody picks up your handbook
Yeah.
or the book that you have coming out now or the book that you have coming out in the future, that the content is going to be it's going to be so beneficial if you, as the reader, actually do the work.
You have to do the work. If you can talk the talk, but you have to walk the walk.
So how do you
So-
call out people when you catch them talking the talk, but you know they're not really doing it?
I say to them, did I hear you right? Did I just hear you say something? Do you want to reframe that?
Okay.
And sometimes you can ask your partner to be that for you, or an accountability person to catch you doing those things.
And you talk about reframing. The language that we use
Yeah,
is programming.
it is programming. So find out what your programming is, detach from it, individuate from it, and align with your authentic self, which it might take you a bit to get there.
Right.
And that's okay, because it can be an exciting discovery.
And it's not static. It's not like, oh, I found myself, I'm all set.
No,
It unfolds.
it unfolds and blossoms and integrates.
Right.
So it's about balance more than it's about achieving perfection.
Now, how much of this, though, is in fact came out of your own growth as a child and what you went through, and that kind of set you on this path?
I would say that if I were to diagnose myself, I would say I'm a person, also a middle child, who is in recovery from codependent relationships. Because it was all about making sure everybody else in my family was okay. And then I actually didn't feel like I existed unless I was in role of taking care of people around me and making sure I was helping them. That made me, I think, a pretty okay therapist.
Well, yeah.
And I'm learning how to do boundaries and say no as we speak.
Right. So if someone wanted to say yes to your Substack, how would they even find that?
They would Google substack.com. They can actually sign up for free, because there's many people that write off of that platform. And a lot of beautiful writers, they offer all kinds of genres of different ways of.
So if they go to substack.com and look for Faith Burrington Jones?
Well, first they'd have to get the app or become a member of Substack.
Okay.
And then they look for the Lighthouse Effect.
The Lighthouse Effect.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, you're certainly a shining beacon of light for me.
Thank you.
And I
Drew.
appreciate you coming on the show so much.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I'd love to have you on again when you have more to share.
The next book.
The next book. There you go. I'm Drew Hutcherson. You've been tuned to Local Bias. My guest has been Faith Burrington Jones of the Lighthouse Effect. And have an enlightened day. Take care.